of June marks the official start of wedding season, and the issue of money and marriage is back in the spotlight. I-Do's this summer will see many Canadian couples embracing their partners, credit scores, and new financial considerations. Joining us to discuss how to be on the same page financially is Peter Sashecki of Everything Financial. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
This is a very important topic. How often do you sort of be in the middle of these conversations with couples when they're talking about money?
All the time. I call it at work a Dr. Phil moment.
Right.
Because you're always in counseling on money, and money is the biggest source of problems in a relationship. It doesn't need to be, but it generally is.
To quote Cyndi Lauper, money changes everything.
It does.
It really, really does. Okay, so let's talk about combining finances with another person. What should people be considering first when talking about doing this?
If there's a lot of inequities in the finances, one person has way more than the other when you come into the relationship, a cohabitation agreement or a prenup.
And that's regardless of whether you get married.
That's regardless of whether you get married. That's the cohabitation part of it. It's, you know what, it's a lot easier to prepare for the divorce while you get along. So get it out of the way. Again, if you're both coming in with basically nothing, I don't think it's the same issue.
Equal salaries, etc.
But even equal sometimes, and I've talked to lawyers about this, the potential though for one maybe in their career is a lot higher than the other person. So let's get the bad stuff out of the way, get the agreement done, and then move on to how you should really navigate through the finances after that.
Okay, so should you have a common credit card? And how do you go about managing those kinds of bills?
Yeah, we recommend a lot of the times a joint account for the day-to-day needs, not the wants, but the day-to-day needs in life.
Mortgages, paying bills.
Car payments, utilities, taxes, rent, whatever, yeah, all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with each of you having your own independent card with some of your savings, your mad money, but you still have to be on the same page of your goals of what you're doing with your needs and what you're trying to achieve. And that's the problem, is sometimes getting a couple both on the same page where one tends to look after all that stuff and the other one doesn't bother, and they say, I'll leave it to you, I'll leave it to you. Don't leave it to the other person. You should both be involved if you want to have success.
Should you be combining accounts? Or is that something that you would ever say is a good idea? Or should people really keep their own separate and have that joint account to just put their bills on?
I think that the joint for sure, at least on the bills. And both should take an interest. If you go see your registered financial planner, both go. Where a lot of times one will just go, will you go ahead and you look after that? You both need to go. You both need to be steering the ship in the same direction, or else there can be financial problems down the road. And there sometimes can be a lot of resentment towards the spouse. So you did this, you did that. I don't know this, I don't know that. You don't want to be almost 60 years down the road and you don't know how to pay the bill. I'm throwing my dad under the bus when my mom passed away.
There's a lot
he
of people.
Didn't know how to pay a bill. He's watching right now too, going, my son's throwing me under the bus. He figured it all out, though my brother helps him out quite a bit. But that's common with people who've been together a long time, where one did all the bills, the other didn't do them. You both need to be involved so that you go in the right direction.
Get on board. What are some other common mistakes that couples make when they're in a relationship when it comes to money and having those conversations?
A lot of times they're not on the same page of debt. So one may be bringing up debt. One's notoriously the big saver, and one's the spender.
There's always a spender and a saver.
And they say, I said, money's one of the biggest things in a relationship that's a problem. Communication. Well, communicate about the money. And talk about it so you can find the happy balance. It's okay being a spender, okay being a saver, but again, having the goal and direction, like how much are we going to spend on a holiday? How much do we need to save? And what part do we need to save for tomorrow for retirement? So plan for tomorrow, but live a little bit for today, because you got to pay yourself too.
That's so true. Peter, good advice this morning.
It's another Dr. Phil moment here. So
there we go. We appreciate that.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.